The truth occurs.
Hi everyone. Supposedly there's a hurricane going on. I, being a complete idiot, of course, have headed out into the streets to see what the real deal is. And the reason for that is that Hobo Steve just called me and told me that up where he lives on the plateau, there's like a million cops and they're not letting people walk around in the street. Like, the stores are still open, but they won't let people go out in the street because they say they're going to be gusting winds. I don't see any gusting winds, but they say there's going to be, a hurricane that's coming this way, gusting winds, and all the stores are going to shut down in 20 minutes, and the cops are not letting Hobo Steve's girlfriend leave the house. And I think that's really weird, considering that, number one, I'm outside, it's barely even raining, certainly aren't gusting winds, definitely not a hurricane. Two, the hurricane actually landed today in, I think, New York, like around Coney Island or something like that, and it was actually downgraded to a tropical storm. The last few days, everybody's been really worried about Hurricane Irene. That's going to be a major hurricane. I've seen footage of President Obama talking to the FEMA team with Janet Napolitano right next to him, saying that, they've done all they can and they're doing a great job, and that the concern is flooding and power outages. And that was like yesterday. So they were acting like it's going to be this huge storm, and then today there's nothing, and it's a tropical storm. And what's really weird about this is that it reminds me a lot of the hurricane, or supposed Hurricane Gustav in 2008. And there was a lot of hype about it, and everybody was saying it's going to be worse than Katrina. Brace yourselves. They set up emergency evacuations. They got everybody out of the area, and oh, here come the winds. I guess it's the hurricane. Any second now I'm gonna get blown away and sucked up into the vortex, and that'll be the end of it. So anyway, Hurricane Gustav, they had people boarding buses and I think planes, and they even gave them RFID bracelets to track them. And then when it landed, it was a tropical storm. Now here's the big problem with this, okay? The National Hurricane Center is actually very good at what they do. And at the time when this happened with Gustav, I was following it on the internet, and I was at the National Hurricane Center website a lot. And I found that they actually have an excellent track record, and they're usually able to predict the severity of a storm within about one category in the last few days. In the last 24 hours, their track record is like close to 100% accuracy. So there's almost no way, unless they suddenly, fired all the old staff and hired a bunch of idiots, like incompetents, there's almost no way that they could be so wrong to say that Gustav could still be a very serious major hurricane and then have it come out to be a tropical storm. That's based on their track record and their technology. That's just about impossible. So I suspected at the time that they were, not being honest, and that they probably knew it was only going to be a tropical storm. And then again with Irene, a lot of hype, and then it turns out to be nothing more than a tropical storm. And the purpose that this would serve, if this is the case, which I can't be sure it is to run drills, which is what they did with Gustav. They basically ran an evacuation / martial law drill. And I don't know about how it's going in the States right now with Irene, but to have even here just part of the city blocked off and cops telling people they can't leave their houses when there's nothing going on. Look, hardly anything going on. No winds. Look at my umbrella. It's not even moving. Okay, there's no hurricane. So why are they blocking off the streets? They say it's because there's some tents up from like some street vendors or something, street sidewalk sale. And the tents could blow and it could be dangerous. I don't believe it. I don't know, maybe I'm too suspicious, but maybe they're just doing a drill, although there is no need for it. And maybe that's all this is, these like big hurricane, hype and all that turning out to be tropical storms. There's no way they could be that wrong. Not twice in a row. Don't let them, lead you to believe they're incompetent, because they're really not. And what really sucks about this is that it makes people feel like they can't trust the government. And if you can't trust the government, to tell you when there really is an emergency and when there isn't, and when you need to evacuate and when you don't, or when you need to hole up in your house and when you don't, well then, who can you trust? That really sucks, because we kind of need the government to tell us what's going on. And if they're, not being honest and just using it as an excuse to run drills. Well, I think that's awful. So I just want to let you know, Truth Girl Sonia reporting from the street in the middle of a hurricane, I guess. Thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.